About a week ago, the Pope's Encyclical on climate change was released, and it was much talked about in the media. The document, entitled Praise Be Unto You, calls on Christians to care for creation and not to ignore the wounds of Mother Nature. Some of the points discussed in the encyclical included pollution, global warming, drinking water, and the disappearance of crops and animals. These points, said the Pope, are in part caused by mankind, and so we should respond. He also spoke out against companies that increase pollution and contamination in third world countries because the actions they carry out couldn't be approved in their developed nations. He called on Christians to embrace a so-called ecological conversion, to live out our vocation to be protectors of God's handiwork, to cultivate and care for the earth. Some things he recommended we do is recycle, separate garbage, and put on a sweater instead of turning up the heat when it's cold. I have to admit, these are valid issues the Pope has brought up, and I'm glad that he's doing something to try and get people to reform their lives to take care of the earth. But can there be more to this encyclical than the media has reported on? Yes, there can, and there is. One of the things that hasn't been spoken about in the media is that the Pope also called people to honor Sunday rest in order to help resolve individual and global conflicts. On page 237, he wrote, Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationships with God, with ourselves, with others, and with the world. In this way, Christian spirituality incorporates the value of relaxation and festivity. The only problem with that is that Sunday isn't the true Sabbath. It's a Roman Catholic institution rooted in ancient idolatrous sun worship. The Ten Commandments state clearly that the seventh day, which is Saturday, is God's holy day. Exodus chapter 20 verses 10 through 11 puts it this way, But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Notice also that the seventh day is meant to be a reminder to us that we worship the true God, the creator of the universe. Sunday is Rome's day, a mark of its own authority by its own admission. In the Convert's Catechism of Catholic Doctrine, 1957 printing, page 50, second answer in the quote below, it openly admits we observe Sunday instead of Saturday because the Catholic Church transferred the solemnity from Saturday to Sunday. Moreover, Chancellor Albert Smith, for Cardinal of Baltimore Archdiocese, in a letter dated February the 10th, 1920, wrote, If Protestants would follow the Bible, they should worship God on the Sabbath day. By God is Saturday, and keeping the Sunday, they are following a law of the Catholic Church. If you want more details on the Saturday-Sunday Sabbath issue, please watch my video entitled The Truth About the Bible Sabbath. I'll include it in a card in the upper right-hand corner, along with a link to it in the description box. What makes mandating Sunday rest so dangerous is that it's one step closer to enforced Sunday worship, which the Bible predicts will constitute the mark of the beast. So what we are seeing here is a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. To be more specific, Revelation chapter 14 verse 11 says that the mark of the beast is an issue of worship. And speaking about the destruction of those who will be lost, it states, And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So who you worship, which includes how you worship, will determine whether or not you will receive the mark of the beast. Keeping the seventh-day Sabbath is a sign that we worship God. The Lord said in Ezekiel chapter 20 verse 20, And hallow my Sabbaths, and they shall be a sign between me and you, that ye may know that I am the Lord your God. By the way, some people say that there is no evidence that we are commanded to worship God on the Sabbath, as in going to church, but that's not true. Ezekiel chapter 46 verses 1 through 3 says, Thus saith the Lord, The gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it shall be opened, and in the day of the new moon it shall be opened. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, and shall stand by the post of the gate, and the priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offerings, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before the Lord in the Sabbaths and in the new moons. Even Jesus went to the synagogue on the Sabbath. According to Luke chapter 4, verse 16, it reads, "And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And, as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up to read." So, when someone tells you that the seventh-day Sabbath is only meant to be a day of rest, and it's not necessary to go to church and worship God on that day, don't believe them. The Bible says otherwise. The Sunday Sabbath, as we have seen before, comes from the Catholic Church. They admitted to changing the Sabbath, at least trying to change the Sabbath. No man actually has the authority to change God's law. And this attempted change was actually prophesied about in the Bible. Speaking of the Pope, Daniel chapter 7 verse 25 states, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws." Now, this prediction and other predictions about the Pope aren't about a specific Pope, but treat the whole office of popes as a unit. This attempted change was really satanic. It all started with Lucifer's rebellion against God in heaven. The Bible tells us Lucifer coveted God's position and authority, and that's why he was cast out. Isaiah chapter 14 verses 12 through 14 gives us a behind-the-scenes look into his motivation. It states, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." Lucifer, who we now know as the devil and Satan, has continued his rebellion against God here on earth. And the nature of his rebellion is still the same. He wants people to worship him instead of God. And how do you think he has been going about that? One way is by changing the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. Honoring Saturday as the Sabbath is a sign between us and God that we worship the Creator of the universe. If we reject Saturday as the Sabbath and honor Sunday instead, especially once we become aware of the issue, we are honoring Satan and offering him our worship. That is because the Sunday Sabbath is his invention to overthrow the authority of God. And in the future, possibly very near future, once Sunday rest and worship becomes enforced by law, this will be the determining factor between who receives the mark of the beast or not. For more details on the mark of the beast, I'll include a link in the description box to a book in PDF form entitled Mark of the Beast. It's very good. I've already read it and I highly recommend it. It talks about Bible prophecy, the Antichrist, end times, and of course, the mark of the beast. The Pope wrote an encyclical recently about climate change, outlining some problems we are facing around the globe and some suggestions on how to cope with them. Although I do agree with him about some things, he is also using this encyclical to further the agenda of the Catholic Church to mandate Sunday rest by law. This will, in effect, bring all of the Protestant churches under the authority of the Catholic Church, along with anyone else who accepts it, and it will usher in the mark of the beast. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it. Subscribe if you're new. Check out some of my past videos by clicking on the screen. I have a lot of good Christian videos that I'm sure you'll enjoy if you liked this one. Also, if you'd like to learn more about Jesus and the Bible, please click on the link to the free online Bible study guides in the description box. God bless.